Hello. Okay, I'm broadcasting on a few channels today. I am broadcasting on 2 different TikTok channels down here, and then up there is both 2 YouTubes and a Facebook. So there's 5 different channels that are running right now. So you'll see me looking at the different screens, just a heads up with that. And I'm going to be sharing it out right now. So if you see me looking down and paying attention to the 2 screens that are below me, it's because I am sharing them out to followers on TikTok. And TikTok always changes the way that it does things. And one time it'll let you send it out to 15 at a time. And then another time it says 10. And I don't know, just to keep you playing, I guess. Keep you on your toes, that's all. How's your day going? Happy Equinox, official new year. Many traditions around the world celebrated this day as the new year. I'm just going to finish sharing here. And it's like I said, it's taking a little longer today because fun, TikTok decided to say you can't send it to 15 at a time. You can only send it to 10. And so it makes it a little bit longer to share it to everyone on the list. I think I'm done with that one anyway. Hello. How are you? Stick around. Check it out. You don't know what you're going to miss. I am doing, I'm going to be talking about Equinox. Hi, Ray J. Hello, everybody. Hello, Carol. And I have some really exciting things about today because I have a big announcement. No, I'm in Alberta now. I used to live in Ontario, though. Hi, Aiden. How are you? Today, we're going to be talking about the equinox, and we're going to be talking about a bunch of things. Do I remember you? Nope. Sorry, Aiden. I remember quite a few people, but sorry, I don't, unfortunately. Hi, Darla. Stick around. I'm actually unveiling a brand new deck of oracle cards or tarot cards today. Oh, did you? Where'd you go to school with me? Which school? I went to a few. Hello. Yeah. Whereabouts? Lots and lots of towns in Ontario. You'd have to give me way more than Ontario. You could either name the live or name the actual school or at least the town. I've driven across Ontario. From one side to the other, I know how vast that province is. So yeah, today we're going to be talking, like I said, we're going to be talking about Equinox, but it's also the relaunch of Anshara'El. For a long time, I was focused on helping. I could definitely see that you were from that town. I could see that. Tracks. 4:44 on the timer there. So we're also going to be talking about the relaunch of Anshara'El and what that means. Like I said, for a long time, I've been focused on trauma and mental health and helping people heal, while also working on reminding you, because that's what awakening is. Awakening is just remembering yourself and your truth. And we get there by accessing information. And sometimes someone in your family says something and it just, a light bulb goes off. Sometimes you're reading something and you're like, oh, wow, that's how that is. Somehow information is going to arrive at you that is going to awaken you a little bit more to your truth. Ultimately, that's what I do. But I'm also someone who is very, very passionate about one thing. I mean, many things, I should say that, many things. But one thing that I'm really passionate about is the nervous system. And the reason why I'm very passionate about the nervous system is because it is something that, if it's dysregulated, like it is when we are traumatized, when we experience those types of things as children, when we grow up through those chaotic or toxic environments and our system is dysregulated from training, like from birth, as like through our training period, it gets trained in a dysregulated environment, then we become adults who have a dysregulated nervous system and we're not even aware of it, right? Because it's just your normal. And somebody will say something or something will happen. Somehow a light goes off. At some point, we maybe as children stop saying, yeah, that was just my life. And we start realizing, oh no, that was trauma. That was definitely traumatic. And when we realize that there's the trauma there, maybe then another piece of information that comes to us is, that some of these things that we're experiencing are signs of childhood trauma, or they're signs of a dysregulated nervous system. Or maybe they're signs of overwhelm, anxiety, depression, inability to cope. Some of us run around with what's called high functioning anxiety and depression. And that's something that I did. I ran through most of my adult life high functioning. And what that means is that you're able to function in society without needing to be medicated. That's what high functioning is. Or you can still function in society with minimal medications. And so high functioning people, what they tend to do is become workaholics, they're people pleasers. They tend to be either go, 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 or numbed out and shut off and avoiding things. And for many of us, we go between those two states. Sometimes we're all on, sometimes we're all off. We're just numbed out. And it's something will alert you to, hey, wait a second, that's how I'm processing my trauma, or that's how I'm going through my experiences. And that's another part that wakes you up. And you continue on this path until you decide to delve into any of those experiences that you had, till you learn how to regulate your nervous system. And learning how to regulate your nervous system isn't as scary as it sounds. Like for many people, they'll hear nervous system and think, oh my God, like I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a scientist, I'm not, right? Thank you, Carol. Yummy. I will take a Sunday. I will. Even on this, kind of overcast day, I'll take a Sunday. Homemade's the best. So when we're looking at regulating our nervous system, it can be as simple as breathing. One of the biggest things that you can do to help your nervous system is learn how to breathe properly, and also how to breathe under times of overwhelm or chaos or, trauma, when you're experiencing triggers. What we're learning is how to get to that space we should have been in the beginning, right? We shouldn't have had to teach ourselves this as adults. We should have known this as children. We should have been taught by our parents, but they couldn't teach us because they didn't know. They were raised in traumatic, chaotic environments, and they taught us from that window. Society as a whole is traumatized. It's chaotic. It's toxic. It is so toxic. What they tell you the man should be is most oftentimes wrapped in some toxicity and distortion. What they tell you the woman should be, again, toxicity and distortion. There's so much that's built in, because the more that we are detached from our truth, the easier that we are to control, and the more that we can be turned into puppets, or we can be turned into consumers. And that's what they want us to do, is to consume their stuff. Whether that's the TV, that's the news, the programming, it doesn't matter. Whether it's the next diet fad, it's the next new bag, it's the next Yeti mug, it's the next whatever. I guess it was Stanley that had that big thing where their mugs went huge for a bit. There's all this chasing something external to us. And so the system is dysfunctional. It's not meant to work for people, like for us, in the way that we are meant to live as healthy, aligned, spiritual beings having a human experience. This is dysfunctional. And we can see that. You can see that with the recent things that were released within the United States that has an impact around the world. You can see what's happened and what hasn't happened with that, to just understand dysfunction. That most of the people up here are not good people and they shouldn't be running countries, right? But here we are. So I went from helping with trauma and working on ascension, and part of everything that strings it together comes always back to the nervous system. Your ability to handle what is happening around the world, what is happening in your life, and your ability to grow, your ability to hold more money, your ability to have healthy relationships, it all comes back to your nervous system capacity. And I've been talking a lot about how your spine is an antenna. And when you learn that information and you start to really sit with it and you think about, well, if my spine is an antenna, then does it not make sense that the antenna should be erect, that it should be upright, that it should be, in alignment? So if your spine, the column, is all crunched over, which is what we are when we're depressed, then how open is that signal going to be? So everything that I've been teaching lately has been coming around to a couple of factors. And so that brought me to this point of basically a relaunch for Anshara'El. So like I said, started out doing a lot of tarot readings, and I started out doing a lot of trauma work and helping you to find a calm space and create a calm space and to move beyond those things that have held us back for all those years, and moved into ascension. And now I'm still teaching about the nervous system. I'm still helping with trauma. That's still a part of what Anshara'El does. One of the smallest offerings that I have available is a program called Return to Sender. And it's not a trauma program per se, because it's not about delving deep into that, but it is 10 days of practical exercises that help you return to center. And in this day where we have so much chaos and so much drama and there's stuff going on all around us, you can't control that stuff. The only thing that you can do is control your nervous system, right? That's the only thing that you can do is this, right? The only thing I can do is me. I can put out content for you. I can put out courses for you. I can put out all kinds of things for you, but I can't do it for you. You have to. So Return to Center is a 10-day self-paced course that you can purchase at my site underneath library and mini classes. Like, it's the mini classes and books section. And not only does it come with like 10 days of practical exercises that you can do, and they're less than a half an hour in length, They give you lots of practical tools within it. But I also packed it with a PDF that has all these extra bonuses. So you almost get 20 days worth of practical exercises because of the guide that I give you. And you'll have to go through it and let me know how many are actually in it. So part of the relaunch is just letting people know that I still do a bunch of the same stuff that I used to. I still work with you with trauma and mental health, but to me, awakening is remembering your truth, and it's returning to who and what you are and how you're meant to live. That's what awakening is. Oh, thank you, Carol. That's so beautiful. And when we're doing that, we're just peeling back layers, like peeling back layers of an onion. And every layer you peel back reveals a bit more of your core truth, who and what you are. And part of the peeling away the layers is the trauma layers. We have to peel those layers away. We have to look at the shadows, right? We have to accept ourselves fully, wholly, love ourselves. There's a lot of distortions that we have to work through. And those distortions aren't just personal distortions that we've inherited through our parents or through society, where, you know, maybe in your family, it was a common thing to say that girls had to be good. Hello, welcome to our Equinox / Anshara'El relaunch. I have a very exciting thing that I'm releasing or talking about today. So please stick around and see what I'm going to be showing you. I'm so excited. I'm very excited about it. Okay, so I'm very excited about the Anshara'El relaunch. I now have a bunch of readings available, and these are true sidereal readings, but true sidereal with my own personal twist. So anyone that knows me and has been with me for years, and Crystal and Carol and some of the people that are watching, they've been a part of my team for years. This is my 5th year. In July, I celebrate my 5th anniversary. So, you know, slow and steady wins the race. That's what slow and steady wins the race. But no, I'm here for a long time. This is my passion. This is my purpose. It's aligned with me. What I bring to you is over 50 years of knowledge and all of my past lifetimes of knowledge and experience as well. And I'm not just somebody that speaks about spirituality. I'm somebody who does it. You know, so I'm not going to tell you to do anything that I don't do. And that's a method that I had with my trauma training and stuff as well. Whenever I did work with anybody, I always said, I don't give you anything that I wouldn't do myself or that I haven't done myself. Some of the things I liked more than others, but I still gave the stuff that I didn't necessarily love to you to try because maybe you liked it better. And I would still give you those things. One of my favorite techniques that I taught people, and this is a little one, if you have anxiety or you tend to overthink, right, which is a lot of what anxiety is, it's that hyperactive energy. So if you tend to overthink, one of the things that you can do, and it doesn't matter where you are, you can be on a bus, you can be driving your car, you can be in an office, in a meeting, you can be anywhere. And you can take your thumb and you can put it against your 2 fingers, okay, and rub. That's all. That's the only thing you're doing physically that anyone would see. But this can be hidden very well. If I'm sitting I could cup my hand over it and rub my fingers behind it. Even if you're doing it, who cares if anyone sees you? They might not even realize what you're doing, right? And what you're going to do though, this is what they're seeing, right? That's the outside. The outside looks all calm, right? Maybe on the inside, you're like a little duck and your feet are just paddling as fast as they can to keep you above water. But on the outside, you look all calm, right? We all know that. We've been there with the trauma stuff. Same thing goes with this. You're rubbing your fingers, but on the inside, you're going to be doing something entirely different. So one of the things we want to do is we want to break the train of thought. So if you're in an overthinking pattern, ask something else. And asking questions is a good way to start. But we're going to ask a question and give an answer. And the whole reason of this is going to be to return to the present moment, right? Because your thoughts more than likely are out there forecasting or speculating or predicting, or maybe it's in there running over a conversation over and over and over and coulda, shoulda, woulda stuff. Right? So we want to interrupt that. So we're going to ask ourselves, while we're doing this and focusing on the sensation, which grounds you into your body, that's what this is going to do. It's going to make you present in your body. You're going to say, where am I? Well, where are you? You're here. And that's the present moment. And then you're going to ask, what time is it? And what time is it? It's now. You're here and now. That's where you are. You're here and now. And you can also say, who am I? And then you say, I am. But you don't have to go to that depth. I've found that it works very well with just, where am I and what time is it? Here and now are your responses. So you're doing this. What else are you going to be doing on the inside? You're just going to slow your breath down. Just deepen your breath and slow it down. Because more often than not, when you're up here really high, your breath's going to be up here really high. So you want to bring it back down into your body. This is grounding you. This is interrupting the thought pattern. And the breath work is interacting with your nervous system. It's the literal brake on your nervous system. So right there, just doing this and saying, where am I here? What time is it now? Can break you out of anxiety and out of a spiraling thought pattern, no matter where you are. Simple, simple. That's what I mean by nervous system regulation. It sounds so complex and so big, but it's so simple. It's stuff like that. It's learning to breathe in a box format. In for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and repeat that. It's learning techniques that work for you because they might not work for me, but they work for you. So learning the techniques that work for you so that when there's chaos going around you, you can remain in a peaceful space. So I still teach all of that stuff at Anshara'El. The group that I have at Anshara'El that's free is called the Temple of Light. And the reason why I called it the Temple of Light, there's all kinds of reasons why, right? But that why we do things and we may not reflect on them right away, but then later on we're like, oh, that makes sense. I understand now. Your body is the temple of light. Okay. And we're starting at the foundation, and the foundation is the body, right? We have to work with the body. We're not ascending beyond our bodies. That's not the whole point of what we're doing in the awakening or the enlightenment process. We are learning what our truth is so that we can live as that truth. And what that does is it brings heaven through your spirit to earth through the temple of your body. And so that's what I teach in Anshara'El. And you can start for free in the Temple of Light, which is a free group. It has lots of extra stuff that delves deeper into the subject matter that I talk here. And you can go further into the groups as well, into paid spaces, but that one's completely free. So definitely at least check out the free one. We're going to talk about Equinox today. We're going to talk a little bit more about the relaunch of Anshara'El, so you get an idea about some of the other stuff that we're doing. Today marks the opening ceremony for the Christic Astrology Level 1 course. And I don't think that you're too late to the party because we're not actually starting classes until April. So if you missed the opening ceremony today, you still have time to join. I will be posting when the opening class is. Once it's an opened class, there's a certain point where you could join and watch the video recordings and learn the material and catch up and still do the live. But I think at the third week, if you haven't joined by the third week, then you wouldn't be able to join us in the live run. You'd have to wait until we did it as a recorded class. But take advantage of the live run, because for anyone that's a founder, which is what I'm classing the first class of students as, is founder students. So for those ones, they're getting it at a very special introductory rate. So definitely check that out. And the foundational Christic astrology, so level 1, it is a certificate program. I have created it. You'll be certified through me. There are 3 levels so far, may only ever be 3, but I like to leave a, just in case I may do an additional level. And the foundational level is the personal astrology. So we're looking at the planets that affect you. We're going to look at truth. We're going to understand what true sidereal is. We're going to understand what Christic astrology means. We're going to understand the 6 personal planets. So we're going to understand what the rising sign is and how that affects you and shows up in your chart. We're going to talk about the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. You're also going to get an introduction into Jupiter and Saturn, but those are more larger ones. Hi, Steve. How are you? Those are more for larger collective energy. There we go. It's collective, more collective energy. So we do that in the second level. But don't worry, you'll be able to read a natal chart or understand your own personal natal chart, understand how the planets are affecting the energies of us and globally, and how to work with them on a day-to-day basis, which is what I do. I love to check out what's going on with the sky each day. I have a live sky app, and I check to see, hey, is this a where's the moon today? Like, what are the energies out there today? Some energies call for more introspection. So on those days, I'm not pushing myself to be outward and, create a lot of content that's front facing, where I'm doing a lot of stuff. I will take more time to be introspective. And that's just the way that you work with it. You don't totally throw away your entire life. Like, if you've got structure, you don't throw that away because the moon said it's okay to be introspective. It just, the energy and the way that you express it is different. I love you so much. I love you so much. All right. So what do you guys want first? Do you want to talk about some Equinox stuff, or do you want to see the one thing that I'm really, really, really excited about showing you? And please say hi where you're from on the other devices as well. I am Tanya, but I go by Sharia and Lorian. Sharia and Lorian is my soul name, and I have an ability to be able to give people their soul names. When I don't talk a lot about what I can do or what I do spiritually. I just do things. And people that work with me know a lot of the stuff that I can do. I've never been one to be a performer. I don't showcase it on the air as a circus trick. I know in the beginning, when I started opening up with my spiritual gifts, I started doing some stuff online, but then you have people showing up on your live and they're like, ask, and it just made me feel like I was just like that, it was just, I should be giving it to everybody. And I didn't feel comfortable. Like I said, it makes you feel like you're kind of like a circus freak and a little bit, right? Like, can you get a message from so-and-so? Can you like and stuff like that. One of the things I will tell you the most about my spiritual gifts that I have, which all of us have, you develop them over time. The cleaner that you are with your energy. And by that, I mean, if I'm out ingesting McDonald's food and I'm smoking cigarettes and I'm drinking and I'm hanging around in like really like energy places and stuff like that, that's a lot of noise that my antenna is picking up, right? So if you think of your spine and your nervous system as an extension of that, right? That's picking up a lot of noise. So how do things hear, or how do you hear through that noise to hear that sound from your heart, right? The seat of your soul is in your heart chakra, right? That's where your soul sits. So I have these really interesting gifts. I'm an energy healer, though I don't do that publicly. That's something I would do privately for somebody. I do, wow, man, we used to do some wicked journeys. Remember them? Carol and I went on a journey recently because we talked about how much we missed going on the journey. So I did one briefly the other day. But I forgot to make sure that the music that was playing in the background was royalty-free music. I have all kinds of wonderful work that I do when it comes to trauma. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I said, I have this wonderful way of, I discern the truth. I'm someone that likes to seek the truth. It's something that I've always been passionate about, and probably a little bit of a pain in the butt for people as a child, right? You're one of those people that challenges it, because if it doesn't make sense, then I don't want to do it. It's just the way I am. And so I've always been someone that's been seeking the truth. And I have, in my time of awakening, I'm at the point now where I can very much discern what the truth is quite easily. And I also have the ability that sometimes when I'm given information or I access information, I touch it in any way, shape, or form, that I am transported to that moment and I watch it like a video and I can see it unfolding in front of me. Sometimes it's that visual, but it's not always. Sometimes it's just a knowing, and it's just that very grounded energy. But all of us can improve our discernment and our ability to understand the information that's around us. And that's also stuff that I teach you to do. I teach you how to do planetary grid work. We do planetary exercises because it's important that we work in harmony with all life, and that includes Mother Gaia. There's a lot of support that we can be giving her right now. There's wars, there's all kinds of stuff going on across the planet, and Mother Gaia feels that. So it's important for us to support her. And we do things like that in the Christic Mastery Circle, which is one of the higher groups. What else do we have? Okay, so I'm going to talk about the one thing that I wanted to unveil because I'm very, very, very excited about this. And I think that Crystal's going to remember this very well because she was in the group when I was originally drawing these cards. And I feel like you would remember them. So I had this idea. So there's a tarot deck. A tarot deck is built upon a specific function, a specific structure, right? There's so many major arcana, there's 22 major arcana, and then there's the minor arcana, which follow the 4 suits, which are elementals: earth, air, water, fire. But I'm pretty sure that everybody that's on these channels would understand that there is in fact a 5th element. So last year, actually the year before last, I started drawing cards, and I did them in Procreate, all on my Apple iPad in Procreate. I painted all of these images. And I did all of these images, and I have finally put them on cards. I only have 1 deck of them. I don't have anything special. All I did was print the pictures off and put them onto watercolor paper. I glued them with an Elmer glue stick. Like, it was craft hour last night for sure. And I printed off the guidebook that I wrote to go along with it. So I'm very, very excited to showcase today for the first time the Etherean Tarot. The Etherean Tarot is a special 93 card tarot deck that you can use with the Etherean element of suit of cards within it, and also the cosmic key, or you can choose to take that out and just use it as a regular deck of tarot cards. So these are all, I drew every single picture on my iPad. I've printed them off. I have the guidebook. I am going to create a Kickstarter for this so that we can get this into publication. And I'm going to do a reading on the air I'll do a couple of readings. I'll pull some cards for everybody. It's a very special deck. It's a very, very special deck. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. So I don't know how much I'm going to make it for. I'll get all those deets together though. This is a very, very special deck. So in the deck I designed, in the guidebook, at the beginning, there are 10 different readings that you can do utilizing the full deck of cards or just the tarot deck, right? When you take out the other ones. And I know, like, look at the Aquarius card, right? So this would be the card to represent Aquarius. I'm just going to move that closer for you guys. And just to remember, the pictures are much nicer in the digital format. They didn't print as cleanly as I'd hoped, like with as much detail. This is the Hierophant card. I'll show you up there, and then I'll bring it down to these guys. Right. So there's some very intuitive cards where there's all kinds of, this is the Fool. So put it up, right? The Fool. There's some favorite color. There's so many like favorite cards that we have. Okay. So this card here is a special card. This is the Cosmic Key. All right, so we've got the Cosmic Key. Okay, I'm going to read the Cosmic Key on the air as an opening for this deck. And then I'm going to do a collective reading for everybody. And then I'll pull cards for everyone that's here that wants a card. You just have to interact. So if you're on the live, you have to tap, and you also have to say you want a card. If you don't say you want a card, I won't pull you one. Okay. Let's read the Cosmic Key. which I shuffled back into I stuck back in the deck, which was silly. There it is. I like to have the card out when I'm reading it in case I want to show it. Okay, so this is the cosmic key. So you can all see that. I'll put it up there nice and close for you again. And there. Okay, now I have to go into my book. I got to find it. I have to put it in. I have to put this book into a binder, but I just printed it before today. I just got it all done. You should see me working last night trying to get this all done for you for today, or for me maybe. I don't know. All right, where's our cosmic key? Oh, noticed another typo in my book. I got to fix that. Okay, cosmic key. The meaning of the cosmic key. Divine unlocking and sacred passage. You hold the cosmic key, an ancient and luminous force encoded within your soul. It is the key to unlocking higher realms, activating divine remembrance, and stepping into the limitless expanse of your true being. With it, doors long sealed begin to open, and the path once hidden is now illuminated before you. This is your sacred invitation to reclaim all that has ever been yours across lifetimes, dimensions, and realities. What is the cosmic key? The cosmic key is not merely a symbol. It is an energetic activation, a divine passageway that bridges the seen and the unseen, the known and the forgotten. It carries the blueprint of your soul's full potential, encoded with frequencies that unlock higher consciousness, multidimensional wisdom, and sacred truth. The key is given only when it is ready to step beyond limitations, fears, and illusions. To receive it is to declare yourself a conscious creator, one who holds the power to shape reality, traverse dimensions, and access the hidden mysteries of the universe. The cosmic key reveals itself when you are ready to receive higher wisdom, divine activations, or a significant timeline shift. If this card appears, it is summoning to unlock, remember, and reclaim. Here's how you can activate its full potential in your journey. Enter the gateway of knowing. Sit in stillness and visualize the cosmic key glowing before you. Okay? If you're safe to do so, close your eyes and follow along. Feel its light expand, dissolving veils and opening quantum passageways. Then ask, what am I ready to unlock? And listen. The answer may come as a feeling, a vision, or a deeper knowing. There's other ways to activate it, but we're not going to talk about them here. We'll do it when it's more individual. The message from the key itself. I have waited for you across lifetimes, resting within your soul's infinite light. You are ready now. I do not unlock what is not already within you. I simply reveal what you have always held. The path is clear. The time is now. Step through. You are the key. You are the gate. You are the revolution. How cool is that? All right. So let's pull a card. I'll pull a card for everybody. I'll pull you guys a card. Whoever wants a card, I'll pull a card. No forcing cards here. But it's just going to be the card that's is the best, most highest aligned message for you at this time. So what's the best message for Crystal? What does Crystal need to hear right now? What's the most aligned message for Crystal? Okay, so we'll show everybody the card. We'll put it up there nice and close. This is the Two of Earth. Okay. So give me a second to pull it up in the book. Hello, Marichi. Buenos dias. Yum. I'm getting lots of ice cream today. I'm loving this. All right. I didn't pull it too far. That was pretty good. The Two of Earth. Oh, it is. There is some choices here. Balance, adaptability, and harmony. The Two of Earth represents the need for balance in life, particularly in work, finances, and responsibilities. It signifies adaptability, flexibility, and the ability to juggle multiple priorities with ease. This card encourages finding equilibrium between different aspects of life while maintaining flow and stability, which is interesting to get this on Equinox, which is the perfect balanced day of day and night, dark and light. We're going to be talking about that too. Pura Vida Morici. And this card encourages finding equilibrium between different aspects of life while maintaining flow and stability. The Two of Earth often appears when you're managing many tasks at once, weighing decisions, or seeking financial or energetic balance. It reminds you to stay centered, move with grace, and trust your ability to handle change. Your message is, I flow with the dance of life, maintaining balance in all things. Okay. A second card flew out for you as well. And I'm just being generous today. It's been a long time since I've done cards, and I love that these are mine. I made these. I drew these. I did these. These are mine. I'm so happy about it. So 10 of Ether. This is one that has never been read before. Yeah, I painted every single one of these pictures. I did every single one of these. And I wrote the book. It's been a year and a half in the making, and I am releasing it today. I'm going to do a Kickstarter for them so that we can get them into production at some point. But right now, I'll be able to use them on the air anyway, and I'm super excited about that. Clearly, I'm very excited about it. Every time I talk about it, I start getting oh. That's why I stopped doing cards. When I drew these cards, I stopped doing cards because I didn't want to do any. I wanted to use my own. And now I have them, so I can use them. Okay, 10 of Ether. Let's see, we're at page of Ether. We're not far. 10 of Ether. This is so this is Cass. Okay, this is Cass Mandu, and this is like my spirit. So like it was just our spirits, like Cass's spirit and my spirit was what the kind of the image is. But this is called the final integration. The card meaning. The 10 of Ether represents completion, transcendence, and the full embodiment of divine wisdom. This card signifies the culmination of a journey, the integration of lessons, and the readiness to step fully into a new level of being. It holds the energy of spiritual mastery, ascension, and the dissolution of old limitations. The figures, so I'll talk about what the elemental stuff is, okay? So the ethereal figures dissolving into light, representing the merging of the self with divine consciousness. The golden and violet hues are the union of enlightenment, which is golden, with spiritual depth and transformation, which is the violet. The fluid and shifting landscape is a reminder that reality is made malleable and one can reshape existence through consciousness. You can reshape your existence. So the activation message: I am the embodiment of divine wisdom. The past is fully integrated, and I stand in my highest mastery. There's so much writing that's in here, and I'm going to read through it. I won't do like the divination upright because we've just kind of talked about that in length. So that's just like the key words of up and down. This is ruled by ether, of course, which is pure consciousness. The 10 of ether is the card of final transcendence. It is the moment when one steps beyond personal evolution into universal service, cosmic awareness, and multidimensional integration. So guidance for spiritual mastery: honor the completion. This is not just an ending. It is an evolution into a new state of being. 2, step fully into your power. The time for hesitation is over. You are the embodiment of divine truth. And trust the infinite. As one cycle ends, another unfolds at a higher level. You are in a constant state of ascension. So the final insight: the 10 of ether signifies the highest state of spiritual awakening and self-realization. It is a card of profound wisdom and mastery and unity with the divine. You are no longer seeking the path. You are the path. It is time to embrace your full radiance and step forward as the cosmic architect of your highest destiny. There you go. All right, who's next for a card? Who wants a card? Who wants a card? I'm going to stop banging that. That might sound really loud on there. So balance, honey. That's it. Equinox. Balance that stuff. Edie. Okay. Can I get a good message for Edie, Spirit? What's the highest, best message for Edie at this time? Ooh, I know that card. This, my dear, is the 5 of air. A couple of cards got backwards. We got to put them back right. The 5 of air, my love. Let me find that in here. Once I put this in a book, I'll put little T tabs on it. I love talking about I do that. Like I do the breakdown of the images so that it gives them more, it's the symbolism and everything, like why I drew it that way, right? 5 of air. Here we are. 5 of air. Okay. The 5 of air is called the smoke of conflict. Okay. So I'll show it here. And I'll show it up there. You should see them when they're real. And I'm going to offer these as prints that I'm going to sell the pictures as actual prints. So you'd be able to buy like the Aquarius as a print. Hello. All right. 5 of air. The smoke of conflict. The 5 of air represents disputes, deception, or an unfair victory. It signals a situation where ego, miscommunication, or hidden agendas have led to a fallout. There may be tension in the air, lingering like smoke after a fire. Something is unresolved, unclear, or manipulated. This card asks, are you caught in a battle of wills? Have you won at a cost greater than expected? Sometimes holding on to a false sense of victory leads to emptiness instead of fulfillment. Are you seeing the whole picture, or is something obscured by the fog of conflict? The 5 of air warns against deception, either by others or by yourself. The imagery. The curling smoke represents confusion, illusions, and unclear motives. The darkening sky hints at doubt, miscommunication, and unresolved tension. The contrast between light and dark shows that truth will eventually cut through deception. Okay. The activation message. I release the need to be right. I choose clarity over conflict, truth over illusion. The elemental influence. As a card of the air, the 5 of air represents or emphasizes mental conflict, strategy, and power struggles. It is a reminder that the words and perceptions shape reality, so to use them wisely. A ritual for activation. Write down any conflict that is weighing on you. Burn the paper and watch the smoke rise, saying, I release this battle. Truth will find its way. The 5 of air asks you to discern truth from illusion. If something feels off, trust your intuition. Winning isn't always victory. Sometimes peace is the greatest success. That's a powerful one. Had to make sure I put it back together. Yeah, I got that card today too, Edie, and I realized it was, it was a situation where I feel like in the space that I was morally right in it, or that my way was the correct way, but I would rather just have peace. I don't need to be right. It's just, it's just whatever. Carol and Morichi, are you still there, Morichi? Did you want a card? Carol and I were going through some of them, and I was like, oh yeah, I would put that on my wall, and I would put that on my wall. I would paint that and put it on my wall. There's so many that I would paint and put on my wall. So anybody that wants a card, you can have a card. You just have to ask for a card, and you have to interact. And interacting would be definitely by asking. And then we're going to talk about the equinox. And we'll go through some of that and talk a little bit more about Anshara'El and what Anshara is doing these days. Still mind, body, spirit healthy at the end of the day. It all comes back to that trinity, right? Our mind has to be healthy. Our spirit has to be healthy. Our body has to be healthy. We can't be neglecting one for the other. So nobody else is saying they want a card. So I'm not going to give anybody else a card, but I am going to do the collective reading. So at this point in time, I'm going to pull some cards. Nice. I'm going to pull some cards for the collective. We're going to do a collective energy check-in. I'm not going to read to the depth that I was reading for you guys individually, because that's just a lot of content, but I'll give the reading for the collective energy. So can we get a collective energy check-in right now, Spirit? We can. Okay. We got 3 cards, and I'm just going to take those 3 cards, and that's our reading for the collective. And I like it. I like what we've got. We've got 2 upside down and 1 upright. Carol wants a card. She does. Okay, let's look at our cards. 2 of them are ether cards, so a lot of spiritual energy coming out, and then water. Okay, so let's check our first card, which is the 6th of ether. There we are. All right. The 6th of ether. Okay. All right. The 6th of ether. Passage through the cosmic veil. Ascension shift. Higher realms calling. Right? I love them so much. The 6 of ethers represents a journey through dimensions, a shift from the old into the new, and a passage through the veils of consciousness. It is the bridge between timelines, guiding you from turbulence into clarity, from limitation into expansion. When this card appears, you are being lifted into a new vibrational reality. Ether is clearing the path, dissolving lower densities, and aligning you with higher frequencies of awareness and cosmic wisdom. The imagery, a spiraling vortex of blue and green hues representing the energetic shift into harmony, healing, and cosmic flow. Hints of gold and red at the edges, indicating that transformation is still underway, but you are moving through it. The center radiates a sense of movement, a portal opening, symbolizing the passage from one reality to another. The activation message, I release the old and trust in the divine flow. My path is illuminated. I step forward with grace into my highest evolution. When it is upright, it is a cosmic shift, passage through an energetic gateway, leaving behind dense realities, or moving toward peace and clarity. And it can also be assistance from the higher realm. But we didn't get the upper. What the collective got today was the inverted. Oops, I let it go too soon. That should mean my puzzle will come up on this one. We got it in the inverted or the reversed. And so in the reverse decision or in the reverse position, it talks about resistance to moving forward, fear of change, clinging to the past, and stagnation in spiritual development. And we can see how this is unfolding collectively, right? There is a fear of change, and that's why a lot of people won't get up. It has to hit a certain level of bad, right? What's the rock bottom that we have to get to before people say, yeah, I'd rather change than keep dealing with this, right? And for many of us, we thought it would be the files, but it wasn't that. Okay. I'm going to read the next ether card because I'm in the ether section. And this one here is the 7 of ether. So it's right next door to the 6. So we got the 7 and the 7 of ether. All right. I'll show it upright to begin with. This is the sacred tree, the wisdom keeper, cosmic choice. The 7 of ether represents spiritual wisdom, deep rooted knowledge, and the expansion of, where did I lost my train of thought? And the expansion of consciousness through sacred choices. It is the bridge between cosmic understanding and earth embodiment, inviting you to stand in alignment with your higher path. This card symbolizes a moment of reflection, a pause before action, where multiple paths unfold before you. It urges you to choose with wisdom, ensuring your decisions are aligned with your soul's highest calling. Imagery and symbolism. A massive tree with swirling, glowing energy in its heart, symbolizing the Akashic records, deep wisdom, and divine guidance. Roots sprawling into the earth, grounding cosmic insights into reality. Etheric swirls in the sky, representing the presence of unseen energies and choices forming in the ether. Divinatory meaning, upright, cosmic wisdom, divine guidance, standing at a pivotal choice, aligning with soul mission, patience before action. But remember, we got it upside down. That's confusion, feeling ungrounded, indecision, illusionary distractions pulling you away from your highest path. And we can see that. We can see this in the collective. But we've got something good coming in because we're bringing in water. So let's see what our water ladies are going to bring to the table. Oh, we should say this one here. With this one here, let's say I stand at the crossroads of destiny, rooted in wisdom and reaching for divine truth. My choices align with my highest evolution. All right, now let's check on our 3 of water. 3 of water, Oh, here we are, 3 of water. The 3 of water is celebration and joy. The 3 of water is a card of celebration, soul connections, joy, and emotional harmony. It signifies gatherings, reunions, and moments of pure happiness shared with kindred spirits. This card is a reminder that life is meant to be enjoyed with love, laughter, and connection. It represents friendships, soul family, community support, or a time of emotional fulfillment. Whether it is a personal milestone, a creative project coming to fruition, or a sense of unity, the Three of Water calls for gratitude and openness to share joy. So although we've got the spiritually confusing time right now, we don't know where we're headed, where there's a change that needs to happen and we're afraid of that. We're starting to reach out and starting to connect with our soul families. There's lots of unity or connections or spaces like mine that I've created that are for these purposes, where you can come and find like-minded people and connect to your soul tribe around the world. Around the world. Seems to be that way, right? So the imagery and symbolism. 3 glowing figures radiating heart energy. My battery's getting low on my iPad. 3 glowing figures radiating heart energy, rising together in harmony, surrounded by ethereal waters of connection. This symbolizes the sacred union of friendships, soul tribe, and the power of collective joy. The floating hearts through the scene, representing the pure love exchanged between kindred souls, and a flowing dream-like atmosphere symbolizing how joy and connection lift the spirit into higher vibrational states. It is. We're all having fun together. Woohoo! It totally is our souls. So upright, it's celebration, deep friendships, soul family, emotional abundance, unity, happiness, and gratitude. Unity is what's going to connect us all. When we realize how unified we are, then the spiritual confusion about what to do is going to go away. We're going to know it's time to get going, right? It's time to make changes, and we're not going to be afraid to make those changes because we know we're going to be returning to who and what we are and how we're meant to live. And there's nothing to fear of that. One of the things that I put somewhere, one of the cards I read said something about shadow. It had a really good message. I'm not afraid of the shadows because I have an eternal light, an eternal flame. Something along those lines. But anyway, if I come across it, I'll read it to you again. 2222 222. I started at 222. I was trying to get it started at 220, but my internet was being wonky, so I had to reset it. And by the time I started, it was 222. All right, let's finish reading our Three of Waters. So the elemental influence is, of course, water. It's deeply aligned with the element of water, emphasizing flow, intuition, emotional bonding, and harmony. It carries the energy of shared spiritual growth and collective ascension. Our guidance for mastery. This is important. Celebrate even the small victories in your life. Surround yourself with those who uplift and support your soul's journey. Open your heart to connection, love, and unity. Release emotional barriers and trust in divine friendships. The Three of Water encourages you to embrace joy, dance with the rhythm of life, and cherish the connections that nourish your soul. This is a time of harmonious relationships, love, and celebration. A reminder that happiness is amplified when shared. Enjoy the beauty of the moment. I love that. Ha. I'm so happy with my cards. And I realized that. I went through so many significant changes in this last year. I went from, and I talked to, Carol stuck it out the whole time. And I talked to Carol about it. And I was like, I remember when I used to talk on my lives about my magic woo-woo bus that I was going to drive around the world and collect all my friends and followers. And we were going to have moon ceremonies and we were going to do all these things together and, whatever. We were going to have our big community, our big soul tribe. And then last year I lost, it just went to nothing. It was so quiet and peaceful. And, I really shed a lot last year. But I kept working on things and I made so many things. Last year was like a creatively explosive year for me. But yeah, I missed my tribe. I missed my group. They went away. Yeah, it got very, last year was it got very quiet, people just shed away, right? It was really the year of the snake. And now we're in the year of the, yeah, yeah. I miss hanging out with you guys. I miss you guys coming and hanging out with me too. So it's nice to see you guys back, to have you guys here today. All right, let's talk about that equinox. And we can always return to the cards later because these cards are going to become a part of my lives, and I'll be doing readings on them. I'm going to do a big energy pull. We do. You can just message me on Facebook or on the no, I don't know if you're on Instagram. You can just message me on any one of the things, on any one of the devices that we're on. Facebook's probably the easiest one to get a good chat going on. But anyone will do. All right, let's check in on our notes because I have notes. You know me. I got to have notes so I keep myself on track. Otherwise, we have a conversation that goes on and on and on and on and on. I once got told I had no structure when I was putting structure in. And then I think I went all structure, and I have to have a little bit more flow in it as well. So we're going to combine those things. Yeah, perfect. All righty, waiting for things to load up. Let's see what we got here. Nope, that's not the one. That is definitely not the one that I want. Where are you? There. All righty. I think this one here. Or not. Sometimes I close things and then I can't find them again. All right. So let's talk about equinox. Let's talk about everything that we want to talk about on for today about equinox. As I said. Hi, Christine. Man, I could co-host with her. She's a small medium. I'm a medium. Just medium all day a medium. All right. Stop coughing a little bit for a minute here. I need to have some tea. My computer's being really slow. It's just being annoying. All right. There. I found it. All right. Did you want a card, Carol? We're like, where were you? We didn't give you a card because you went away. Okay. All right. Perfect. That'll be the perfect transition because now I have finally found my equinox notes, so it'll work out perfect. All right. Can we get a message for Carol Spirit? Can we get the message that's most aligned that Carol needs to hear at this time? Like, just get it. Don't fall off my chair to do it, though, but just get it. The 8 of Earth. I love the 8 of Earth. Oh, I think I put it up, do I? I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up when we go through the symbolism. That's fire. Which one are we on? Water. Earth. 8 of Earth. 4. 8. All right, we've got it. All right, the 8 is mastery, skill, and dedication. The 8 of Earth is a card of diligence, craftsmanship, and learning. It represents the process of refining your skills and committing to mastery through focused effort. This card encourages dedication to your craft, whether in work, personal growth, or spiritual development. Switch sides. The 8 of Earth also suggests that education, study, or training may be beneficial at this time. Right on time. Right on time. Whether you are developing a talent, improving a skill, or deepening a knowledge, I got to find a way to put this on something so I can charge it. Because it's running out. I brought my charge cable in here so that I could, but the problem is they put the charger in the bottom of it, and that's just not a good spot for a charge cable to go. Give me a second, guys. I don't know if that one's going to be large enough to reach. Try not to lose. Try not to lose it. See if I can prop it on something. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Had to get it. Okay. Did we flip it or something? No. Flip it back around. Nope, not that way. Nope, not that way. Nope. Okay, we're back. That was funny. I just have to find something that I can prop it on. Ooh, these'll work. We'll set one on each side and then put the thing in the center. It might work. I don't know. We're going to try. Woo! They're not tall enough. 2 of them would be tall enough. If I had another 2, but I don't. Maybe the lip of this bowl is as tall as that. That might work. No. Okay. I blame me. I blame me for all of this. Okay. Did we get it? We did. We just have to stop it from sliding forward. That's all. Okay. I don't know. I got to check on this now. I might have put this up too high. Oh, we're good. We don't want that. We want this, and we want that. Okay. Okay. I might just have to hold on to this one here until. Why do they do that? Why would they put the plug-in on the bottom? Like, it's the silliest thing. I killed the battery on the iPad. I wonder why, Carol. And I thought I had enough time to charge it before the live, but I didn't. And so now it's telling me it needs to be charged or the live's over. So I just have to hold it. That's okay. From here on out, after this card, I'm not doing cards, so it'll be easy. I can hold it. All right. So the 8 of Earth also suggests education. We got through that, right? About consistency is key. The imagery. Here we are. The imagery. All right. So golden cubes of different sizes emerging from a box symbolizing learning, mastery, and structured growth. Go out and come back in. Hurry up. I'll have some tea. That's me looking in the distance. I drop my glasses down so I can look over them and see out in the distance. Is Carol back? Hi, Luke. I don't know who you are, but thanks for hanging out for the whole time. Tap, give a couple likes. Help this live go out. Oh, and do follow me at Sharianne Lorian. Follow me on my other channel because I'm trying to make that the main broadcast channel, like the main channel. We just went 333, guys, but now it's 334. Hi, Denise. Long time no see. Okay. Symbolism. Golden cubes of different sizes emerging from a box symbolize learning, mastery, and structured growth. Patterns on the cubes reflect different areas of skill development and hidden wisdom. The green background represents grounded energy, abundance, and stability in the material world. Your activation message: through dedication and focus, I refine my gifts and step into mastery. Right? How perfect. We got all the numbers today. 111, 222, 333. My iPad's at 8% now, so you know that's not 5. It's better than 5. So ruled by the earth, this card aligns with Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, reinforcing themes of discipline, structure, and patience. Exactly. On my relaunch day and Equinox, we're just about to talk about Equinox. I was just showcasing the cards that I created. I painted and made them. I did this. I made them. I'm sorry for you over here that I'm moving it around. I'm just keep looking for something that I could balance it with that would work. But I don't see anything. I'm not seeing anything. Okay. Let's finish your card, Carol, and then I'll figure out something. I might even choose to close down the one live. So since that's, I just might. We'll see. All right. Through dedication and mastery, I refine my gifts and step into mastery. Ruled by the earth, we said that. Okay, so the guidance for aligning with mastery: commit to your growth, whether in career, craft, or spiritual development. Put in the effort. Trust the process. Mastery takes time and practice. And be open to learning, seek guidance, study, and refine your skills. The 8 of Earth reminds you that true success is built through dedication, patience, and continued refinement. Whether you are learning a new skill or deepening your expertise, your work will be rewarded. Stay committed and trust that every small step contributes to your greater mastery. How nice is that? I like it. All righty. Let me see if I can, what I can do. Maybe I can figure it. I'm like, I'll try it again. I'll try it again. Ooh, a deck of cards. Nice. Nice. I'm going to show you I'll show you, this might actually work. With to take the book out. Is that as tall as those two? Those two with the book. We're almost getting it, guys. Okay, cool. Would you like a card, Denise? I can give you one now because I've managed to prop up my device for now. We'll see. I should check my other broadcast and make sure it's not completely cutting off the screen. It could look quite funny. And then we're going to talk about Equinox because that was the goal of today. Okay, it's not blocking it. If it is, it's very minimal down in the corner. Perfect. So these cards, I drew them in Procreate started about a year and a half ago. I had thought of this idea that how tarot cards reflect the elements, each suit representing an element, but there's 5 elements. So I made a tarot deck that has the ether element in it. And so it's a 5-element tarot deck, and it also has one extra card in it, which is the cosmic key. So I have the book completed. I have the deck completed. I just printed off all of the pictures and I glue stick the pictures onto the paper. That's what I did. So anytime that I've got a problem with any of them, I can redo it. It's just a matter of reprinting it out and putting it back on the paper. But I do plan to get them professionally printed. And I'm going to do a Kickstarter for them. And I'm also going to have it where you have the ability to just purchase a card if you wanted to. So you'll be able to purchase just the print, right? I'm showing the one that, so yeah, you would have the ability to just purchase that and have it as a print on your wall as well. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get all that stuff going. All right. So this is the unveiling day of the Arthurian Tarot and the keys of transcendence, or the keys to transcendence. Sorry. All right, so let's see. Is there a message? Spirit, can I get a good message for Denise, the most aligned message for Denise at this time, please? That's hilarious. That message that we were having earlier. Okay, so I'm going to show you the card upright. It did come in the reversed position or inverted position, but this is the card in the upright. And I'll talk about it. I go through in the deck, I wrote in the symbolism, like what I was doing when I was painting, like what I envisioned with them all. So this is an ether card, and that's a card that doesn't exist in any other deck. So this is the 7 of ether, which is right here. There. I'm like, it has to be right here. The sacred tree, wisdom keeper, cosmic choice. The 7 of ether represents spiritual wisdom, deep-rooted knowledge, and the expansion of consciousness through sacred choices. It is the bridge between cosmic understanding and earthly embodiment, inviting you to stand in alignment with your higher path. This card symbolizes a moment of reflection, a pause before action, where multiple paths unfold before you. It urges you to choose with wisdom, ensuring your decisions are aligned with your soul's highest calling. Symbolism and imagery and symbolism. A massive tree with swirling, glowing energy in its heart, symbolizing the Akashic records, deep wisdom, and divine guidance. Roots sprawling into the golden earth, grounding cosmic insights into reality. The etheric swirls in the sky, representing the presence of unseen energies and choices forming in the ether. Your activation message. I stand at the crossroads of destiny, rooted in wisdom and reaching for divine truth. My choices align with my highest evolution. Now, this was in the inverted position, so that means that there is some confusion, or you're feeling ungrounded or experiencing some indecision, or there may be some illusionary distractions that are pulling you away from your highest path. This card is ruled by ether, which is pure consciousness. This card is infused with earth energy, bridging the material and ethereal planes. It reminds you to seek wisdom before taking action and to trust in divine timing. Your guidance for spiritual mastery. Deepen your connection with sacred knowledge, whether through the Akashic records, meditation, or nature. Let wisdom guide you. Let wisdom guide your path. Trust the pause. If answers are not yet clear, allow them to emerge naturally, and ground your spiritual insights. Apply divine wisdom in tangible ways to create real change. The 7 of ether is a call to seek divine guidance before making a significant choice. Your soul already knows the path. Trust in the wisdom within and let the sacred tree of knowledge illuminate your way. Powerful. I love it. It's perfect. All right, we're going to move on from cards today, though, and we're going to move into, hello, thank you for joining me over here. We're going to move into, because we're going to play with them a bunch of times throughout, right? Right? Yeah, just right now we are looking at, it is Mercury retrograde still. So with it being Mercury retrograde, we want to review our decisions, right? We want to make sure that the decisions are still aligned with us. So it's an opportunity to go over all the information that you know and just really get clear with it. Just get really clear with it. All right. That was sitting on the heater on the hot seating, the hot setting, and it was much hotter than I anticipated. All right. So this deck of cards, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to release it. I'm so excited to use it, all of that. But let's talk about Equinox and get to the other focus of today. And also the fact that I'm going to turn this way so we can bring you in a little closer, try to adjust you a little bit. I think we're good. All right. We're charging. So we're good. All right, so there are moments in the year when the sky does not push forward. It pauses. And today we're in that pause. We're in that balance where we have equal day, equal night, equal day, dark, equal light, right? However you want to look at it. So this equal balance that we have, the earth is holding a state of equilibrium. And when this happens, we often feel that internally. You may feel a need to reassess things or to realign things, or a recognition that something in your life isn't quite structurally correct. That's going to come up because today you're going to feel the balance in the environment around you collectively, Mother Gaia, light, dark. You're going to feel that, and it's going to make the things that aren't in alignment with you more obvious and ask for you to assess them, ask for you to realign them. So this is not a disruption. This is a recalibration. And all we're meant to do is just reflect on the energies that are around us and work with them in the best way that we can. So the equinox is not symbolic in this vague sense. It is a measurable astronomical event where light and darkness meet in equilibrium. In human experience, this often corresponds to us wanting to reevaluate our direction. We'll recognize where the imbalance is, or we'll have a shift in priorities. And I felt that. I haven't been like super pushy with my energy towards things. I knew that I was coming up to the point of the relaunch for Anshara'El and the launch of the Christic astrology course. But I also knew I still didn't want to start things in March, even though we're at the energy of equinox. And oftentimes when we go into that spring, right, once we turn into spring, it makes us spring forward with action. But that's not always the case. And we are also still in Pisces energy. Pisces energy is not that forward motion, right? Let me check. I was like, where would I check this the quickest? I'll do it. Oh, I closed that. The Sky Live T. When you have your keyboard sideways, it's really... I'm like, if I push T, I should get the Sky Live because it would be the first one. All right, so if we go to the sun, find it in the sky for today. We'll go to the date and we'll move it forward. I just want to see what day it moves into Aries. According to the live sky, that's how I work. I want to know what's going on in the sky at this time and work with those energies, and that's it. Pisces is a big sign. So it goes into Aries on April 19th. So we've got a long time yet in Pisces energy. So things will get started, but it's just that Pisces energy is the more introspective. And right now we're there, and we also have that retrograde, and it's just not the energy to just get going. It's the energy for you to be looking at, exactly right before. And Aries, let's go. Let's do this. So it's not that energy of that really fast moving forward energy. It's of a reevaluation or realignment and all of those, and shifting your priorities. We want to be finding the balance before we move forward with that energy. If the balance, or if it is the foundation that allows that sustainability moving forward. If it's not a stable foundation, if it isn't built on, a well-grounded structure, then it's just going to fall apart. And without balance, action will then be reactive. And instead, if you have balance, you're going to be taking action intentionally. You're going to be making those choices from a grounded place. So most people right now, they're not struggling because they lack knowledge. Right? That's not what most of us have, a world of knowledge, and, in a variety of different ways. And you could hazard to say that with the internet, we actually have too much information, and there's definitely too much information out there, but maybe not as much that's grounded in solid knowledge, right? There's always a little teensy bit that's been moved or twisted, or, that it's been manipulated or distorted a little bit just to keep us out of our alignment a little bit. And so when we're looking at that fragmentation, right, it's our energy or our attention, our awareness is going in all these different directions, right? What's happening in Iran? What's happening in the US? What's happening in Canada? How are the grocery prices? How's your rent? What's, like all kinds of things coming at us. And our attention is also fragmented in, watching that program, scrolling on our phones, like there's so many things battling for our attention, whether it's people or it's things around us. So too many inputs, too many directions, too much pressure to act quickly is all of that stuff is bringing to us. Coherence is what restores that clarity. And when the body, mind, and awareness begin to align, decisions become simpler, right? Decisions and directions become clearer and energy becomes more stable. And that's what we do at Anshara'El. We help you restore coherence in your life, not add more noise. We want to take away the noise. We want to peel back the layers of, fragmentation because your attention's being captured here and here and everywhere else, right? We want to come back to self and to center and to sovereignty and self-sufficiency and all of those things. So the eclipse/equinox cycle, right? We did our eclipse window when we had our solar eclipse and then followed by the lunar eclipse, in Leo and the full moon in Leo, and then through to the new moon. But we were going through these eclipse windows. The eclipses reveal the information and then the equinox stabilizes it. This recent lunar eclipses brought visibility to areas of the life that were out of alignment. They were really asking for leadership, spiritual leadership as well. And we were seeing a lot of that as we were seeing those structures crumble. People who were at one point a spiritual guru were seeing that they were falling from the pedestals that they were put on because their pedestals were made not of solid ground. They weren't embodying anything that they were preaching to you. They were just preaching and getting money and, being an influencer, but they weren't actually standing in their truth. That was revealing that through this energy. So now that we have the equinox, it's asking, well, what do you do with what got revealed? Right? What do we do about all the information that's been revealed in the last little while? What do we do with the fact that, like say Deepak Chopra as an example, what do we do with the fact that that information came up and other people, like most spiritual people up there at the level that Deepak is, are not speaking on it. They're not talking about it at all, which is not good. That's, you have to be willing to communicate about it or talk about it. So that's what the equinox was doing, was revealing all of these, or the eclipses were revealing all of this stuff. And the equinox is now asking us, okay, what are we going to do? And this is where many people lose momentum because they can see clearly what's happened, right? But then they collapse on but what do we do with it? Like, where do we restructure? How do we do this, right? It's just, there's that collapse there. So the equinox is at the moment is the point where restructuring becomes really possible for us now. So our practical integration, and you know me, I always have practical integration because if we're not doing something practical, we're not embodying it. And that stays as information and doesn't become wisdom or knowledge, right? So this is not a moment for overextension. It's a moment for precision. We want to be asking ourselves, what is essential moving forward? And that's not just as an individual. These are collective questions that we're going to be asking. What is essential moving forward? What is no longer sustainable? And what requires structure, not more intention? Because clarity is not created through force. It's created through alignment, right? So we have to get into that alignment. And we talk about all of these things in the Temple of Light and in a lot more depth than that. It's a free community where we continue these teachings, we explore practical application and begin stabilizing these concepts into daily life. And from there, if you want to go deeper, we also have structured readings and programs and soul alignment sessions and classes and courses. There's all kinds of stuff to support the process. But the first step is simply entering Anshara'El and continuing the work. And you can do that at free in the Temple of Light. All right, I got way more to talk about. I was just making a little teensy tiny little there. All right, where's my other note? Because I thought I opened it up, but I didn't. Where are you? Sometimes. sometimes, my brain works better, and sometimes it doesn't. Little chickadee out there. Bang, 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 bang. Right? Yay! I found my team. I'm like scrolling. I'm like, wait, am I in the right path? Am I in the right folder even? In a minute, I'm going to go to my other teaching. That'll make it easier. Whee! I know I'm scrolling really fast too. You think that I would, you should see the stuff I create though. Anyone that's been with me for a while knows I create a lot of stuff. All right. I wanted to talk about the 144,000. That was the other thing I wanted to talk about. Yes. Because we've been talking about the 144,000. Enlargement, right? I love it. See, you're meant to be here. You're meant to be here. You're one of us for sure. Yeah, because I think for me, it's because I was doing a bunch of different things. I was doing a relaunch. I was doing the Christic astrology course. That's me, all kinds of things. I'm just going to search. That's the best thing. That's the best thing. I've started actually getting better with my organization and making folders and having subfolders and stuff like that. Like I really, really do. But yeah, like I said, it's just because I was doing like 3 or 4 different things at the same time, and that just got me going. So, all right. So we're going to talk about the equinox. Okay. What is the truth about the equinox? We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about the 144,000. I'll do a little more look on that. So the equinox is not simply a date in the calendar. It is a precise astronomical moment, okay, where there's a threshold and the relationship between the earth and the sun creates a moment of perfect balance. So day and night stand in equal, and light and dark are held in exact proportion. And this is not symbolic. It's really measurable and observable, right? It's not just a symbolic thing that we're having equinox. It's measurable is what I'm getting at. So from that physical balance, everything else flows. What the equinox is in truth is that it occurs when the sun crosses the celestial equator, moving from the southern half into the northern half of the sky. And this marks the equal daylight and darkness across the planet. And the turning point where light begins to dominate in the northern hemisphere, a reset in the Earth's seasonal cycle. It is one of only 2 moments where this exact balance happens, right? We'll get the next one in fall. So what does this create in our body and in the field? And again, we're back to talking about the nervous system, right? And that's something that I studied a lot of reasons. Why? Well, I was a nurse for over 20 years. I worked with a lot of patients with MS. I was diagnosed with MS myself, which is a neurological disorder. I also was diagnosed with functional neurological disorder, again, another neurological disorder. So I spent a lot of time learning about the nervous system from that aspect. And then in my trauma healing, I realized how regulating your nervous system was such a significant portion of healing and even an awakening and allowing you to hold more in your capacity. So here we are back to talking about it. So the human nervous system and hormonal rhythms are tied to light exposure. This moment affects the body directly, right? So at equinox, circadian rhythms recalibrate, melatonin and serotonin begin shifting toward increasing wakefulness and activity. And the body prepares for that outward movement, creation, and growth. Oh, I love that. See, you really do fit in perfectly. And this is why people often feel clearer mentally, more motivated, and less tolerant of stagnant misalignment. You know, there's this whole theory that in the winter time, like before you go into the winter season, people do this thing called coupling. I've never done it. I don't understand what I just don't. But I do know that it's apparently people get into a relationship so that they can have someone to cuddle with through the warm months. And then you break up before February, like you break up before Valentine's Day or something. And that would be this moment. You would be like, I'm done tolerating that, right? I'm not tolerating. It's not aligned with me. It's out. Which is just funny. It is very handy. It is very handy. I actually, with my Christic astrology, I was able to look at all of the signs and determine how that shows up in nervous system triggers, and then offer within my readings, solutions or practical supports for those triggers, which is really, really powerful. It's interesting how it all comes together, right? You know, as a computer programmer, I was a nurse, you know, like emerged, flight nurse management, like all of it, you know, into learning more, like so many things. I just love to learn. Yeah. And we just use it all together. So yeah, it's really, really powerful. I do true sidereal readings, but I call it Christic astrology because I remove the distortions from it. So the lies that they've put in that keeps us like out of alignment, I moved those things out of it. And then I applied all my nursing, all my trauma, all my mental health, all my nervous system, all of that stuff into it as well. And I have like such a powerful framework now. And now I'm teaching it. Now you can learn it too. Foundational level 1 opening ceremony starts today, but the actual course starts in April. So there's still time. If you're hearing it for the first time and are interested in it, you still got time to join. So it's not imagined, this experience that we're going through, because as the environment changes, the body responds. I was thinking about how, you know, in your eyes, you have receptors that determine the light level, right? And those receptors in your eyes, when they feel the sun is at a higher level, they send a signal to your body that tells your skin to increase, like tells you to increase the melanin, right? To protect you. When we put on sunglasses, we disrupt that whole function. So wearing sunglasses actually means that you're going to burn more, because you've disrupted that. So the light that we see with our eyes is huge. It actually affects us because it affects more than just, right? As it said here, that melatonin production increases, like stuff like that. So it's, you know, so if you can be outside without the glasses on so that your eyes can adjust to the actual temperature that's out there, unobstructed, so it knows that's the level of light, this is the level of melatonin I need to protect myself from burning. So even on that side note, but back to the threshold, or back to the deeper function of the threshold of this equinox. Balance is not the whole point of the equinox, right? It's the pivot. That's all it is. Yeah. No, it's okay. No apologies necessary. So this is the moment reveals contrast with precision. It's asking anything that is out of alignment, that is being avoided, or that is no longer stable or sustainable needs to become visible. And it's not because something external is forcing it. It's just because balance removes distortion, or it reveals it to us. And when light and dark are equal, there's nowhere for things to hide. And it has always mattered across cultures. The equinox has been marked as a beginning point, not a random one, a functional one. It is the moment where seeds can reliably begin to grow, cycles of action can begin without fighting the environment, and energy supports forward movement rather than survival, right? In the wintertime, we are more focused on survival. It's cold, like the growth cycle is done. So, when you look at what the animals, like the moose, he goes through the beginning of the season, he's got his antlers on and he's good. He's eating the berries and whatever he's picking up. But I love you. I'm 6:30. I'm on a 6:30 Mountain on Wednesdays, 6 Mountain on Sundays. I don't know what time zone you're in. And so 8 and 8:30. 8 and 8 p.m. on Sundays and 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. That's my standing days. And then I do extras. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, or quarter to 11 and quarter to 1 Eastern. Sorry, quarter to 1 Eastern, quarter to 11 Mountain. I'm going to be doing a special live. So yeah, I'll be doing a special live tomorrow. We're just going to be doing a little meditation. We're meditating on 4 words for 5 minutes, right at 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So I'm going to start a little bit early so that we can be ready to go at 1. Okay, perfect. Love you. So what do you actually do with the, because like the ancient systems, they tracked this because it worked. So what are you supposed to actually do with it, with the equinox energy, with this pivot point, with this opportunity, right? So we don't need some ritual or some complex thing to work with this moment, right? We just need clarity, precision, 2 things. Okay. So 1, you're going to look today to identify what is no longer aligned, not in theory, in behavior. So what are you still doing that does not match where you're going? Right? It's a pretty good question. 2, make a decision, not 10 changes, 1 or 2 that are real and enforceable. 3, initiate forward movement immediately. The power of this threshold is in its action, not contemplation. So do that 3 steps, identify what's no longer aligned, make a clean decision, and take action on that decision. That's it. That's all. Even 1 small decisive step matters more than a perfect plan. And oftentimes we hesitate to move until it's perfect. But all that is us not doing it, because it will never be perfect. It will never get to the moment where it's perfect. So we'll keep delaying starting. And it's like chasing a carrot. Right, the carrot's out on the fishing line here and you're running around chasing and you'll never get to it. So make 1 small step. It's the same way you eat an elephant, 1 bite at a time. It's the same way that you would drink the ocean, 1 sip at a time. It's the same way that you do anything, 1 step at a time, 1 breath at a time. It begins with 1. Now I have Linkin Park in my head. And anyone that knows the song knows you're having it too. So the simplest way to understand it is that the equinox is a calibration point. It's a moment where the earth resets its balance, the body recalibrates, and clarity increases. And from that balance, direction becomes obvious. Light begins to lead. So the question is not what the equinox means. The question is whether you move with it or you hesitate while everything else begins to shift forward. So are you going to be left in the dust? Not sure, hey? I'm not. I got my Aries boots on. I got up with Aries rising and said, let's go. All right, let's do the other part of this. We're going to be talking about the 144,000. This is a call for you. If you recognize that number, we'll talk about that number too. I have this whole thing that I'm going to go through this about our relaunch and about Anshara'El's relaunch. And if you have any questions about anything, if you're at the website, just book a free call or send me an email or connect with me on social. I do not DM you for readings. I do not DM you for anything. You have to establish a communication channel with me first, and then I will respond. That way you know you've got the right person, right? And always make sure it's this account that you're following me on the live, so there's no chance that somebody didn't just put one little small change in the name and you don't see it and then think that you're interacting with me, right? Always make sure that you know that you're going to my site or to my thing. I have a website. I've been in business for almost 5 years now. I'm an actual company. I have Anshara'El Pathway of Ascension, and it is also the School of Light. I also have 20 books published now, officially today, the 20th book, which is Parisa and the Mermaid Who is Afraid of Water. That published today. That's book 6 in the Unlikely Heroine Chronicles. Go check out my books. They're all underneath Tanya Baldwin and also Sharia and Lorian, depending on which book. All right. I'm going to move this over here because I like to look at my notes in front of me. It makes it easier. All righty. And then it changed where I was in my note. You know, you do that, you move the page over, and then all of a sudden it jumps you way back up. I'm further down than that. There we go. Found it. I love you. Mwah. All right. So something is shifting across the world right now. And I know that if you're here, you can feel it, right? Many people can feel it. Some don't fully have words for it. Structures that once felt stable are beginning to change. For some of us, we were aware of this information. We've been aware of this for a long time. We knew the charade that we were living in. We know more than what's even being released to the public at this time because we have spiritual insight, or we've remembered, or we've searched out the information. One rabbit hole too many, whatever it is. But many people can feel it. They don't have words for it, while other people do understand. But the things that people have trusted for so many years are no longer holding the same way. And during moments like this, something else happens. People begin to awaken. And we've been waiting for this. Those of us that were, because we awoke in levels, right? There's the very early out people like David Icke. He was awake long time ago talking about stuff that most people called him crazy for. And many of a conspiracy theorist has been called cuckoo or crazy or lost a friend or two because of the things that they said were true. But awakening is like a sunrise, okay? And at any point in time, people are along the entire spectrum of the day. They're either at the very beginning, just seeing the sun pop on the horizon, and they're just newly awakened, to the point where they're at the very end and they're fully awake. The problem is there's only about 1% to 2% that are at the fully awake stage. Most of people that are awake, and there's say 15 to 20%, are in a varying stage of that sunrise. Some of them have just opened their eyes, whereas others are more awake. And we don't awaken all at once. We awaken steadily, one after the other after the other. People hanging around me, they get to hear all kinds of conversations that will awaken them, even more so. This is the way that it happens. So that's how other people waken up. They interact around other people who are vibrating at higher frequencies, and it wakens them up, or it triggers them, and it sends them on their pathway. And on their pathway, they go through a bunch of healing and come out the other side going, hi, I'm awake now. That woke me up, right? Whatever their journey is. Sometimes we're the trigger or the activator or the person that changes it. But more often than not, I mean, we might trigger something and then they go on a path, and that path opens them up. But across the world, individuals are beginning to notice the same things. They feel when something is out of alignment. They question what others accept. And they feel a pull toward truth even when it would be easier not to. It's not easy being the person that was awake a long time ago. It wasn't. It wasn't fun being cuckoo crazy. It wasn't fun having people not want to talk to you. And it was really challenging being awake for so long and then seeing the new information coming out and waiting for everybody to go, holy, and that's what's going on, and for people to stand up and then nobody's standing up and you're like, what? Not yet. We have to wait for more information. And that's just the way it is. Everybody has a point, and it's just about reaching that point. It's the same thing on the healing journey. We call it the rock bottom. When you hit the bottom, that wakes you up and say, I can't live like this anymore. That's what some people are waiting for. On the others, and this is the other side of that, is waiting for what is the chaos, the destruction, the distortion, the manipulation, the lies, the all-out evil that is going to be the thing that's going to wake you up. Which one is it that's going to be the trigger to flip the switch? And that's what we're waiting for with people. And some people, like I said, they just had the switch flipped, and they have a long way to go to be awakened. And we have to be gentle. We have to be gentle with those, because remember, there was a time when all of us were sleeping. But they start to question the truth, and it is hard. And for a long time, many of those people felt alone in that, right? As we felt alone, and we were finding our little groups of people and being like, oh, yay, somebody that I can talk to about all these things that I know, and they can hear me, and they can talk to me about it. This is fantastic. So we're looking for those spiritual circles or our groups, our soul families, just like the card showed today. We felt alone because we felt like we were the only one seeing it, but we're not. And some of us have realized that because we have reconnected to our soul tribes. And many of us are out there in that stage of awakening where we're like, where is the people that are awake like me? Because they're standing in families or in communities or in businesses where people are not aware or awake. And it's very jarring for people out in society. So they may not be aware that there are people out there, that their tribe is out there. We were spread out on purpose, right? Spread out on purpose. So we're going to talk about the 144,000, because across many traditions, this moment has been symbolized in different ways. And one of those symbols was the 144,000. And for centuries, it has been misunderstood. It was never about a chosen group. It was never about separation or hierarchy. All it does is describe a pattern. It's a distribution field of individuals who begin to awaken during times of transition, not to control the world, not to escape it, just to stabilize it. And how do we do that? We do that by stabilizing ourselves. Right? So when you learn to stabilize yourself then you become a stabilizer in the field. And those of us that are looking at our traumas, those of us who are spiritually waking up, those of us who are doing breath work, those are the ones of us that are here to stabilize it by stabilizing ourselves. So this is not about identity. It's about responsibility. And that responsibility is to live with clarity. Okay, to seek truth instead of comfort, and to stop contributing to confusion and instead become a point of stability. That's the shift that's happening. And that's where people are going to start resonating with people around them that are that stable energy force. They are people who are like me that teach Return to Center, which is a course that helps you return to your center. There's many other ways, but people are going to need to be looking at how to regulate their nervous system, how to return to center, how to find balance, how to be that point of stability for others in the world right now as they continue to wake up. So Anshara'El, natural. This is Anshara'El, all about it. So the foundational work within Anshara'El pathway of ascension, that's what this is. It's about this. It's not about overwhelm. It's not about intensity. It's about orientation, clarity, stability, learning how to come back to yourself and build from there. That's what Anshara'El is about. Clarity, stability, learning how to come back to yourself. Simple stuff. So if you've been feeling this shift, and if something in you recognizes what I'm talking about, when I'm talking about the 144,000, I'm talking about being a stabilizer or feeling like you're a part of the awakening. And I don't mean that, like I said, in a superiority thing. Awakening isn't all doing retreats and smoking stuff or taking ayahuasca or having these like explosive things. True spirituality, true awakening, truly being one that's a part of that is being grounded, being stable, is embodying the truth of who and what you are and living that every day in practice, right? It's the person that says, if we're going to be doing a spiritual, if we need to be me, right? I'm talking about how we need to support Mother Gaia. I go out in my woods and I hang out with the trees. I meditate and with the trees. I send love. I channel. I channel with the trees. I do all kinds of things out there. I do all kinds of things in the morning. I wake up. I channel and write. I meditate. I speak. I call in my monad, my oversoul. I do yoga. I do these things. I don't tell you to do them and then sit on my throne of lies and collect all my money. I tell you to do these things because there are things that I have done and they work, or there are things that have been supported by other people to have worked. And I've tried them, even though they didn't stick with me. And now I'm sharing them. And I have a whole host of things to share in that way. So it's all about returning to center. It's about not doing more. It's just about grounding yourself. It's about being the lodestone, that stability. And when you think about the way that we are around the world in all these different points, right? We create a web, we create a grid. You are a node, I'm a node, and you're a node, and you're a node, and you're a node, and we're all nodes. And I'm out in the middle of nowhere in Alberta, and you're in British Columbia, and somebody else is in Ontario, and someone else is in New York or Virginia or wherever, right? Like people are around the world, and that's so we can create nodes and connections to create a grid around the world. That's what we're doing. And your job is to be stable. Your job is not to see the chaos and destruction and all of the fear and all of the stuff, and to be detached from that. Be detached, and also at the same time doing the things in real life that we're supposed to be doing to create the structures that we want. So if the current education system sucks, create something new. If the current finance system sucks, we got to create something new. If the current internet sucks, we got to create something new. If the current food system sucks, we got to create something new. That's what we have to be doing. And there's people around the world that are doing this, right? But at the end of the day, what you need to do is start with you, because it's your reflection. You are the universe, right? You're reflecting yourself out there. I lost my train of thought at the end there. It's okay. All right. So we just want to be grounded. We want to be embodied. We want to be living the truth. And that's how we are going to bring about the new earth. It's that simple, but we have to live it. We can't just keep learning, right? Remember when I used to say it was shelf-help? If we had the self-help books on the shelf, but we never used them, then it wasn't self-help. It was shelf-help. The same thing, it's just performance if you're not really doing the spiritual practices. You're just performing spirituality. You're not embodying it. And the only way that we're going to create the new earth is through embodiment. We're not going to create it by wishing it into existence, by, kumbayaing or by doing we're not going to create it through another ayahuasca ceremony, right? There's a lot of spiritual people out there that aren't completely aligned with the truth or with the light. And you have to get grounded into your body so your discernment becomes more accurate, and you'll know, hey, wait a second, something's fishy about this person and I shouldn't be aligned with them. There. Hey, do either of you know your true sidereal? Your true sidereal natal chart, big three. I know that you were going to check on that for me, Crystal. your body, right? Like when we think about it, so your body is the temple of light. Your spirit is the light. And when we bring our spirit, when we marry it to our body, we are marrying, or we are bringing heaven to earth is what it is, right? When your spirit is the heaven portion, your body is the earth portion, or the temple. Which is why my group's called the Temple of Light. My trauma program was the Bridge to Light, phase 1, and then phase 2. And it's all because we're crossing that bridge of enlightenment, right? And marrying ourselves. Yeah, your top 3 for, do you know your true sidereal top 3? Did you do that on the thing yet? I think you did the one time when we were on. Or it was Silesia. Yeah. I cut my hair. Did you notice? I can't stop playing with it either because I cut like 8 inches off. But it feels so much thicker now because it's like, oh, true sidereal. Okay, so when you're looking at astrology and you're looking at birth charts and stuff like that, mainstream astrology is traditional, tropical, seasonal, Western, mainstream. So they can call it any one of those things. True sidereal is working with the living sky, and it also incorporates Ophiuchus, which is the 13th planet. And it considers the movements of everything, everything, not just when we're looking at the traditional astrology or mainstream astrology, it's based on the planets frozen 2,000 years ago. Whereas true sidereal is looking at what's happening in the sky right now. And for many people, they are not even aware that there are different styles or different types of astrology out there. Like they just know of mainstream. And for a lot of people, I mean, they just look at their sun sign and think that that's it. And if it aligns with them, they're like, yay, astrology. And if it doesn't align with them, then they'll go, meh, it's not astrology stupid because it doesn't make sense. But there's so much more to look at. Mastering the zodiac is okay. It might not be the same reading that I would give you, but they do a free chart calculator. Then what I do is I take that chart from Mastering the Zodiac. I'm in the process of creating the math and all of that, like the programming behind it, so that I can have it on my site, my own calculator. But oh my God, that's a lot of math. That's a lot of calculations, like astronomically trying to chart out the rising sign and, the mid, all of that. Like my ears ringing as I'm talking about it, but it's a lot. So I have to work that into it. So you can do Mastering the Zodiac. But what I do then is I confirm using the Sky Live app, and I'll take your chart, I'll put it into the sky. I'll go through every single planet and confirm that it actually is there according to the living sky. But yeah, but that's it for today, guys. That's it for my live. I'm at 4:30 and that was a 2-hour live. I feel like that's pretty good. If you get it on Mastering the Zodiac, Andrea, you can always send it to me, and in like on a chat here, like you're following, you should be following me, send me a message and I'll send you a little mini reading. Like I'll give you a Christic astrological reading of your big 3. And if you want to send me your information, I'll confirm your stuff against the other one. But yeah, I gotta go. I have company that just showed up, and I love you guys, but I should go and unlock doors and stuff so that they can come in. Otherwise, they won't be able to visit at all. Mwah. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Go check out Anshara'El. If you have any questions, definitely message me. I love you guys. I will see you back here tomorrow at 10:45 Mountain, 10:45 Eastern. It's about a half an hour live. We're only going to do a quick little meditation at the hour for 5 minutes. And then check me back here Sunday at 6 p.m. Mountain or 8 p.m. Eastern. And also Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., 8:30. All right. Love yous. Bye. Come on in.